Hey, this is Griff from the Griff and Sasquatch Show. This is my Friday rant. This week's topic, I believe, is just going to be on: do you bug in or do you bug out? Okay. Personally, I think it's just your own, your own preference, what you decide to do. I mean, if you have a really good location and you have it stockpiled full of food, water, ammo, guns, medical supplies, or what have you, then yeah, I say go for it. Bug out. But I also think it depends on the situation, the circumstances at the time. Um, you know, for me, where I live in Kentucky, and right now, our best situation would be to bug in. And bug in means, pretty much everybody knows the terms. It just means staying where you're at, staying put. I have a couple of crawl spaces that I have stockpiled full of, the necessities that my family needs, that I need. I have a water supply, a very good water supply actually, that's full of fish, plus, the water, you can drink it, boil it, whatever you need to do so you have fresh water. Plus I also have a lot of game around where I live. Now, having said that, it's still recording. I'll just make sure, guys. Having said that, it just depends on the situation. Now, if there's like a nuclear attack, I mean, there's not much you're going to be able to do. Okay, now like within a natural disaster, which Kentucky is on a major fault line. We had a earthquake here, tremors a couple months ago, but we've had an earthquake. I think it was back in '78 or '79. I'm not for sure. I have to look up the dates. Now with the earthquake, depending on where it hits, dictates what you need to do. Now if it hits in the major city and the buildings collapse and stuff there, it would probably behoove you to stay where you're at if you're into government assistance. But like I said earlier, if you have your location to where you can get to it and you can get to it safely and get your family there, and remember what I told you about the core group of people that you have, then get them there and and do what you need to do to survive and stay put. Now, bugging out. Yes, I have a four-wheel drive, and yes, I do have a couple locations that I could go to. Do I have them fortified? No, I haven't had the finances, here lately due to unforeseen circumstances that I can't get it to where I want it to be. Now, I've been prepping on a budget, and I've kind of kept it here at the house. Like I said, I have a water supply source, and I have game, and I have fish, and this, that, and the other, but I also have medical supplies. And due to, a condition that my son has, we'd have to stay here for a while until I could find, a really good location with, maybe a doctor or a medic or, a paramedic, anything like that, that would be able to help me and my son. Now, does that mean when you bug out, do you take... I mean, what's your priorities? Do you take your food and water first? Or would you just like, I'm going to take all my guns and I'm going to take all my ammo and screw the rest. I'll be able to pertain water with the gun. No, it's like I said, it's whatever you want to do. I think it's an individual preference. I think that, you have to decide that amongst yourself, with your family, your friends. But what I would suggest is, if you do have that core group of friends that I was talking about in last week's rant, make sure they got some good skills and something that that you could use in your bug out location or your bug in location. Like now, I've got a neighbor who is a carpenter, and he also knows construction, and he's a hunter. The neighbor beside him has medical training. I don't know how much extensive, but he does have medical training because he's a volunteer EMT. And then I have a neighbor beside him that's into hunting, and he has guns and this kind of thing or whatever. Now with me, I have, I'm going, like I've mentioned previously, I think, several times, that I'm in gunsmithing school right now. and that's going to be a trade that I have. I'm also construction, carpenter, you know, handyman, jack of all trades, master of none, so to speak. But you can take that with you with your locations, and you know, and if you have your core group of people, that just makes you that much stronger, you know, in case, you know, natural disaster or government takeover or martial law, or, you know, which I don't know if that any of that stuff's going to happen. You know, you just got to be prepared, and you got to know what you're doing. And I don't think anybody is an expert on any of this stuff. I mean, yeah, you know, you got guys that are military, and they have the inside scoop, and then you know, you have the conspiracy theorists, and you have the backwoods preppers, you have, you know, just that regular guy just wanting to prepare for any situation. And that's what I am. Me and Sasquatch, we've been doing this for several years. Don't have a whole lot of money, but we're getting it together, you know. And like I've said before, I believe that in a dire case situation, that I'm just going to bug in with my location until it becomes where I can't, or it's compromised. And I don't know if you can see behind me, but there are several backpacks behind me, behind the ladder. I don't know if you can see that. And over to the right is my bug out bag, which I plan on doing a video on that, you know, maybe this weekend, or, you know, the following week. Let you guys check it out. It's not perfect. It's what I wanted. I think that bug out bags are to individual preference. You know, in case I need to go scouting or something like that, I kind of keep it light, kind of keep it down to the basics. You know, whatever I can carry lightly and to survive with, you know, scouting missions, hunting missions, whatever I need to do. But I have several. I have a backpack fetish, so I get in trouble all the time because I always want to buy one. Actually, I bought a large frame Alice pack a couple of weeks ago that I'm going to turn into another bug out bag in case, you know, a situation arises. But that's going to be one for bugging out to a location that I have picked out, that me and Sasquatch have scouted out, and it looks to be pretty good. It's got what we need. But getting back to the topic of this week, I think that it's the individual preference. I think if you have a stronghold that's fortified, stay put. If it gets compromised and you can get away and you can do it safely and get your family there safely, then bug out. I mean, it's whatever you want to do personally. You have to do what's best for you and your family and your core group of friends. Several of my friends that I mentioned earlier with the skills and stuff, they know where one of the locations at, and they know that it's a rally point for us to meet if something goes down, natural disaster, whatever, you know, because you never know. That's why we do this. We prepare for anything. I think that, you know, one of the main things that people lose sight of is it's not just about, you know, hunting and guns and ammo and this, that. No, it's about homesteading. It's about having food on hand. It's about having water, medical training, medical supplies. There's a lot of good resources out there to find antibiotics. I've found a ton, and I have a ton, you know, stashed away. Yes, they have an expiration date, but you can go beyond that expiration date for a very long time, believe it or not. You just Google it and you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, if you're bugging in, make sure you got your food, your water, you know, your medical supplies, your weapons. It's also good to have hand tools, you know, blankets, toilet paper, big one, if the power goes out. Just those basic necessities. And I think that, you know, once you sit down and you make a plan out with your family and decide what you're going to do, that you'll realize what's best for you, your family, and your friends. I think it's good to have a rally point at someplace beyond your house, and I think it's really good not to tell everybody what you have or what you know. Knowledge is a commodity, and supplies are a commodity. I know that sounds kind of retarded, doesn't it? But I hope that this has been helpful. Like I said, me and Sasquatch, we're looking into some locations, and we got some really exciting videos coming up. I think you'll be impressed. Hopefully you'll subscribe, give us a like, give us a dislike, give us a comment, whatever you want to do. This is Griff, and this has been my Friday rant, and I look forward to the next Friday. Thank you.